Welcome to Movie
Cold Opens, movie news. David Kep, writer of the smash hit Indiana Jones The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, is back for the next adventure in the epic series.
Yes, Kep assures fans that the next movie won't fall into the same traps as its controversial predecessor.
He says, I think we've got a good idea this time. We'll see.
Bold words from Kep, but he has the cred to back it up from such masterpieces as The Mummy, 2017, The Little Engine That Could, 2011, and of course, Lego Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Brick.
Didn't know he wrote a game. Is there anything this man can't do?
Yes.
It's a game though, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's like an...
Hey, fool!
Are you mates with Jonah Hill?
I'm not.
Because he told me he's going to be playing a role in the upcoming Robert Pattinson Batman film.
Who's Robert Pattinson?
He's the Edward guy, you know. He played baseball in the rain, he kissed the girl.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, I used to work with a baseballer.
Did you?
He was a good guy, actually. Yeah. There you go, Matty. That's just in case he watches.
A lot of protection out there.
Game of Thrones star Kit Harington says he still hasn't seen the controversial latest season of the hit series Game of Thrones.
What character does he play?
He plays Jon Snow.
The main dude. Well, I guess he's open. If he just waits a year or two, maybe it'll all be okay. Didn't he put a knife in the girl?
He did.
Amelia Clark?
I guess he doesn't know that though.
Well, he has to have some idea.
Can you believe that fool?
Joaquin Phoenix had a fascinating response when asked a tricky question about his new movie Joker.
Yeah, he was asked in the interview whether he might inspire acts of horrible violence in its young, impressionable audience.
But he had the perfect response prepared. He said,
What did he say?
nah, that's it, mate. You just bug it off. He wasn't interested in answering. Because, what is, like, mate, he's just an actor. Do you know what I mean?
He's an actor.
He's just an actor. What he asked...
He doesn't know nothing.
If you want to punch someone in a film, you punch him in a film, okay? If you want to punch him in the street, then that's when you don't do it. That's what's naughty.
Homie!
Bob Iger made waves on the interweb zone, saying the Disney had vomited out Star Wars movies way too fast.
Yeah, Bob Iger is, of course, best known for his role as the CEO of Disney, overseeing innovative productions such as The Lion King remake,
The Aladdin King remake.
the Dumbo
The
remake,
Beauty and the Beast remake.
the Jungle Book remake,
The Cinderella.
the upcoming Lady and the Tramp remake.
The Frozen 2. Yeah, but Toy Story 2 was good. Pirates of the Caribbean 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is there a 6th Pirates of the Caribbean coming out?
Yeah.
Bro, I'll watch that. Episode 6 of Pirates of the Caribbean. Is that it? No! I didn't realise that. Yerock Namris says he'll be putting effort into finishing his latest short film he's been working on, Old Tires.
Wrong.
I know, because I spoke to him personally. Every morning when I look in the mirror, I say, bro, you can do this, alright? I know you're busy. I know you work a lot of the weekends, but you can get your brothers together, get your sisters together, and be like, we're making this film. We've got 3 big shoots to film, some Foley and some editing. We can do this. Movie news first up. That's a bold move, mate. It was pretty, very well. Pow, badoosh, schmading. What's next on the agenda?
Well, I thought next you might treat us with a bit of a review.
Oh, will I now, Joshua?
Yes, I think you probably will. So.
Alright, that's all right. I don't have to say my name because they know who I am. This is Joshua, by the way, and this is my show, Movies About Movies. So, welcome. The Big Lez Show, eh? You're joking. What do I even say? Well, that depends. Have you heard of it? Have you seen it? Have you? Yeah, no, right. Well, if you don't know, The Big Lez Show is a show on YouTube, primarily created by one guy, Jared Wright. It's animated frame by frame in Microsoft Paint, so a lot of effort goes into even a couple of minutes of content. The show started off fairly simple, mostly just mucking around in the first season, and the second season it really starts to pick up. If you were in Australia and in high school at the time this show was coming out, you know just how quotable it is, and it really does supply some good laughs.
What are you talking to me?
It's very much a druggy humour, right? And I hate drugs, so when it comes to like stoner humour, I don't really care for it. And on paper, you'd think this would just be immature and edgy without actual substance. But there's just this Australian goofy charm to it that you don't really find anywhere else. And in some twisted way, it's actually quite sophisticated.
Woody Blues, mate.
When the story is going strong, you really are drawn in. And it has this pretty crazy plot that Mr. Wright has done quite well to keep together. But even when there's not much going on, some characters are just standing around talking to each other, sometimes even describing moments that we, the audience, have just witnessed. Somehow, thanks to the pretty excellently written characters, it's still easy to be entertained.
So much has happened. Oh, yeah, like what? Just imagine, like, Tumor Island 2 comes by, like, 4.
So now, looking specifically to the last episode of the Big Lez Show saga, Tumor Island 3, Denouement, how is it as a finale? Alright, I'll tell you this. No joke, if you've been around since this show's inception, the announcement and release of this episode was bigger than Endgame, and maybe even equally as important. I think Season 2 is probably the funniest, but Season 4, it really is the best. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of laughs to be had here. The characters are great, and in terms of actual art, it really is quite top-notch, and you have to give a lot of props to Mr. Wright for creating what he's done, including the original soundtrack, which has some nice tunes.
Then I said to Sass, mate, can we go sure? And he said, sure, mate. What for?
I don't even remember this, eh?
It's a pretty big finale to a show that's had some pretty big moments, and I'm happy to say it honestly is a satisfying ending with some excellent surprising moments in there. I think Mr. Wright put a lot on his plate, but somehow he was hungry enough to clean it all up nicely. Pretty good, what's the word for it? Analogy?
Metaphor. It's a metaphor.
If you say so. Now, you could have some problems with Tumor Island 2, mostly with some of the discussions the characters have that get a bit political, but they've kept that out of the final episode, which really is for the best, because every time the characters are on screen, just having a yarn, it really is an enjoyable time, and it's nice to see how far Jazza has come as a storyteller. The humour and the show in general is very Australian, mate. So honestly, I don't know how it would be for a foreign audience. But even if you're not Australian, or you are Australian, but you're a bit of a prick, so you don't like it, it's been created by one bloke, and with all the love and the passion that he's put into it, you really can't fault him for it. So, for me, well done, Mr. Jared Wright, mate. You've done a good job, I think, and whatever you keep making, I'm going to keep on watching. What's that? Jazza! Out of 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then half because his eyes are covered. 9.5 out of 10. No, I don't do 10. I don't do ratings out of 10. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, we're more of a rating out of 4.
No, it's more of a, do I watch it or not? And yes, you watch it. It's worth your time. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you.
Alright, cool.
Alrighty, sir. What did you think about The Big Lez Show? Denouement. Who's floating now, fool? I thought it too was painfully average. You know, the first half is like, yeah, that's right, and the second half, it's so emotional, man. It just goes me right in my heart, I love it.
Once again, you fail the people. You don't know how to do one word.
The title of the show doesn't have to tell you what it's going to be in. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, no.
Like Seinfeld. It's not about a sign falling over, is it? It's about the characters having fun.
I have and never will see that show.
But he's watched 2.5 Men twice.
Let's not publicise that.
Joker, 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 Joker. Alright, Joker 2019 by Todd Phillips, I believe. The man behind The Hangover, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3.
What a resume.
We just came back from watching the movie. Why don't you start us off?
Oh, well, let's start by saying spoilers. Everyone dies.
It's not true.
Lots of people die.
Yeah, he kills a few people, which is cool to see. Before he killed anybody, they done a real good job in making you feel sympathetic towards the poor guy.
I don't really care.
You don't really care?
No.
You don't have a heart that cares about people?
Maybe I am a cold-hearted monster. But
Maybe you are.
I don't know. I just felt, all right, I get the point. His brain is sick. I felt like the setup sort of overstayed its welcome.
But the whole movie is a setup. The problem with this movie's existence is that there's no room for surprises because we know, as an audience, who it's about. We know what's going to happen. This guy's going to lose his mind. He's going to do some bad things, and he's going to become Joker because he's a character we know about.
What didn't really care for the first probably hour of the film.
I suppose so, but that's why I sort of tried to almost forget about the rest of the DC stuff and forget about the mess of the DCEU and all that crap and just sort of focus on this character, which is what the movie's about.
But this isn't a DC extended universe film, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Which is why the whole thing's even messier.
It is.
As its own film, it's a different movie. It's not a superhero film. It's not the mess that the weird ass movie that was Venom. It's its own thing, which focuses on this guy who starts off as a nutter and he goes crazier and crazier, loses his mind, kills some fools, and becomes this character that we all seen on other forms of media. And I think they did a good job.
It really started to grind to a halt. I want to say at about halfway through, I started to get bored. And then it's like a flick switched. Why does it have to connect to Batman?
Because it's Batman's... Of course it has to connect to Batman. What other choice do they have?
Why?
Because if it didn't have to connect to Batman, it wouldn't be Joker. It'd be crazy guy goes crazy. It'd be a different movie, wouldn't it?
Yeah, okay.
But they need to
then
sell
maybe
tickets.
It just should have been that.
Yeah, but they need to sell tickets, and they need to make
So
Joker.
it needs to be Joker.
Yeah.
But all the Batman stuff was the worst stuff in the movie.
But it all works.
Correct. It didn't work. It was just a distraction.
Yeah, because the whole Thomas Wayne thing was like...
Yeah. Okay, the fact that Thomas Wayne was in it and that people were rallying against him, that was fine. It sort of gave texture. It gave the Joker almost a cause, ironically.
Yeah.
In a sense. But once it started getting deeper into that,
But it didn't go too deep. They definitely played homage.
But I felt like what went too far is all the family connections, and it was just, who cares? That's not what the story's about.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like they don't really have much choice in putting something like that in there. And they did as best as they could have done. And they couldn't...
I just feel like the fact that it's the Batman connection, I feel like that's a distraction.
Yeah, definitely.
You had little Bruce Wayne, and you had Alfred, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Was he Alfred? You never called him Master Bruce, so I was confused.
He had an English accent.
It couldn't not be a distraction because the whole time you're thinking, when's Batman going to come into it? And so they did what they did, and they made it as... I think they did as well as they could. They could have made it worse. I was thinking they're going to have Joker, Alfred, kill Batman's parents. But they didn't.
I
And
thought
I was
that
like,
for a
that's a
second
good
as well.
surprise. That they just got some other guy to just do it. Like, that's good. That works.
Yeah, they sort of changed that backstory a little, because I don't know about the comics, and I don't really care.
Well, it's supposed to be just like a random mugger.
Yeah.
It was never supposed to be like the Joker and all
It's just
that.
some guy.
Yeah.
And in this, everything has to be connected. It all has to fit into the Batman story. And it just doesn't need to. It can be its own thing.
But it can't because it's the Joker. If it was its own thing, it wouldn't be Joker, would it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would. It should just be a movie.
Yeah.
And as a movie, the fact that Batman's in it is pointless and distracting. And the idea of Thomas Wayne, is that his name? Being Joker's father, I don't know if that's from the comics again.
And you know what? Everyone makes jokes about having to see Uncle Ben die so many times, but we've seen Batman's dad die. Batman's parents die more times than anyone's parents die. This is like the third time minimum.
We do not need another Batman origin.
No, we don't. But
we
have
never
it.
need another Batman
You're
origin
right,
after
but
today.
we don't have a choice, do we? So this is what I'm. Okay, here's the thing. If we have to have a Joker origin movie, this is what I want it to be.
It was very well acted.
Of course, you can't fault Joaquin Phoenix's acting. That's why he was chosen. Everyone knew from the beginning. If we're going to do Joker again, and we're going to top Heath Ledger or do something that's different, we're going to have to get someone that's fantastic.
I wouldn't say it topped Heath Ledger.
No, I wouldn't
I'd
say top.
it was
It's different.
Yeah. It's not necessarily incompatible with Heath Ledger, it's younger. Why can't we have a 90-minute movie anymore? Everything has to be 2 hours. So it's just...
But I didn't feel like it was taken up. Did you feel the length? Because I
did.
didn't.
Yeah, I did feel the length.
Maybe I just enjoy watching the movie too much.
As I said, an hour in, I was like, yeah, I get it. He's sort of crazy.
No, I was like, no, this is cool.
He's put up on it and he's crazy.
But no, I was sympathetic to him, especially early on. Easy enough. And then obviously as you lose his mind more, you become more and more detached from the...
I think the twist really brought it back for me. I'll definitely say that.
That's fair enough.
And then from there onwards, sort of the transition from just this sort of awkward, crazy guy into the Joker, a version of the Joker that we're more familiar with, that was very well executed.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. The sort of transition. And that, like I said before, when he actually pulls his gun and shoots old mate Murray in the noggin, that was, I don't know why it was so hard. We've already seen people who've been shot and stuff, but it was like I was watching TV and it's like I literally witnessed this live execution and I was like, freaking hell, bro, that was pretty hardcore. Maybe just because the effects are really good or whatever. But no, I don't really have any complaints.
No complaints about the movie.
I don't think they could have done any much better. Because it's not like a plot-driven movie, is it? It's not a movie where it's got a plot.
It's very experiential.
Yeah. And I have no problem with that.
It did a very good job of getting you into his headspace, which is one way films can go. And it's often not my favourite way. I like a really well-executed plot, which is not what this was.
But it was never going to from the start.
That's not that well. It wasn't the point of it.
Yeah.
This is Lost in Translation, not The Godfather.
Just leave me starting. Oh no, Mr. Harris.
Cinematography?
Cinematography. Well, that's interesting because I noticed when the title came up that it was cut off at the sides. I don't know if that's like a 70s thing, having the sides cut off. And I noticed that it was on 1.85:1. And I thought, hey, is this projection blown up?
I thought
It's like too big, but no. It was correct. That's the aspect ratio it was shot in. I thought it was a very good-looking movie.
Yeah, looks good.
I'd say my grievance with the cinematography is because they sort of went with the titles and the credits. They went very hard into the period. It was a period piece.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
But it was a period piece stylistically. But it was shot on digital cameras, very clearly digital cameras with this...
Well, very clearly if you know what you're looking for.
Right, but with a very stylistic colour grade. And it doesn't look like film. And I just would kind of expect...
It to look
right,
like
when
film.
you're doing that sort of period piece where the film is almost in the style of a film from the period, it was very obviously digital.
Yeah. When I was a kid, we had Tim Burton Batman stuff. And then I was a teenager, we had Christopher Nolan stuff. And then we freaking had the DCEU. Now we got this. And if they're going to keep on shoving down DC stuff, superhero stuff, Batman stuff in our faces, then I want it to be original feeling movies like Joker was. Joker felt original.
It did.
And they did.
It felt like it was made by a director
who
and
cares.
an actor with a vision.
Yes, and who care about what they're making and care about story and care about character and care about this film and aren't focused on what's to come.
And for that reason, it was almost as good as The Hangover Part 3. Well, thank you for watching this final ever episode of Movies. Why don't you like stand in the middle? Yeah, just like that. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. That is perfect. That is.
How do we talk shit for so long?